Hello, this is your boy Jan Ragnerud here with Chaos Map. chaosmap.com/talk is what we're going to be talking about today. Actually, we're going to talk about content today, but if you'd like to know more information, it's at chaosmap.com/talk. So I get that out of the way. And the title for today's broadcast is all about how to blow up content using a single piece of content and distribute that out and really show you how you can leverage that content out in the web universe, if you will, social media, of course, but how you can gain a lot of traction from this. And, the only cost for this is perhaps some tools and your time. So that's about it. Now, we have a lot of other strategies that we can apply around this. And what I decided to do in this sort of series of content now coming up on these broadcasts is to share with you some of these basic strategies out the gate. And this is really part one to share with you how you can actually take one piece and get it really scaled up out in the marketplace, just like a media publishing house, big old media giant you are, right? Think of yourself as that actually as you go forward. I recommend it. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to share my screen, and you're looking at that right now. And I'm going to take you through part one, a very simple process. And I put on here actually the link below if you need help with this or you need to talk about it. We actually have a team of experts, and happy to jump on at chaosmap.com/talk. You can see it on the screen there. And by the way, this is really, really simple out the gate. We're talking about the very, very basics to use a core piece of content. And I've sort of outlined this in 3 steps here. And the way to think about this is, first of all, before we get into this, is, you need to think about this in terms of your audience, right? There's always this question of who's your audience? Who's my audience? Who am I talking to? What's going on there in their mind at this moment? That is very, very important, because if you're pushing out some content and you're using this 1, 2, 3 model, which I'll describe in a second, that's great, but it's actually not great, or could be not as great, if you haven't thought about who am I talking to, why am I doing this, what am I trying to help or service them with, and you can often get this from data, right? Your analytics. What are your top pieces of content, or some of your questions have been asked in the marketplace that you get. You can leverage this. In fact, if you're running advertising right now, say on Facebook or Google or elsewhere, what are some of the top content pieces that are doing well for you right now? Well, then leverage that out the gate and think about the audience, as I said, in terms of that targeting. And then once you have sort of clarity on that, you want to develop some headlines, some, I hate the word clickbait. We know what that's all about. It sort of feels a bit fake news-like, right? We don't want to go there. We really want to service our audience and help them. So what is it, though, that can intrigue them? A how-to headline, just like I have, is a very simple but powerful way to initiate that conversation in their head. Another thing that works well, especially in the blog universe, is, listicles. The top 10 list of X, the top 10, marketers in your space, or the top 10 things you should know, etc. Those can be good things to share out there. But right now, I'm just going to really take you through the model, and then we can talk more about what type of content and how you leverage that in upcoming episodes. And if you're listening to this on my podcast, or if you're watching this live, or you're catching it on YouTube, I most sincerely appreciate your time. I know our time is valuable, and hope you get really good value here from today, because I certainly enjoy doing these things. So step one, after we've defined our audience and our targets, we want to get some content out there, and it can be as simple as your iPhone or your recording device. Right now, I'm actually running this on a DSL right here. Let's see if I can switch back over, and I should be able to. This is all about the technical aspects of going live. Let's see here, camera live. I guess we're not getting into that right now, so we'll worry about that later. Okay, let's see. That's camera live. That's Google. That is the Ecamm live. Where is it? See, now I'm getting confused myself. How lovely is that? Okay, no worries, guys. We're still looking at, I'm getting back to my screen here, and current application. All right, there we are. Sorry about that mix-up. Going live is great. Going live without having your proper, technical checklists in place can be a challenge. We're looking at the screen here. The first thing out the gate is we want to be able to leverage that content through a recording device. It could be a DSLR, as I mentioned, certainly your iPhone, your portable devices, but also recording devices like the Tascam in that picture right there. I think that's like $70-80 to do that. And basically now you have your first piece of content. This doesn't have to be anything extravagant, right? I think the notion out there of most folks, especially newbies, is that it has to be a Hollywood production, that you need to spend a lot of time and money on editing, etc. I mean, my presentation here today should be an example of what you can do, and don't worry about some of these issues that come up. The key is to make sure that the content is clear, consistent, and it matches your audience, as I said. So let's say for a moment that you are recording a how-to. 3 things you should know, perhaps. And you have your iPhone out. You may be doing a video or just basically using a recording device off of that. That's fine. Some are more comfortable in camera than others. And once you have that recording, you basically can upload that to a couple of different places. And what I like to do is to go live on Facebook, like you see here, and then take that, download that into what's called an MP4 format, and then upload it to YouTube. And I'm going to talk more about how you optimize these things for SEO, for search engine value, and how you title tag it and descriptions and all of that later. But suffice it to say that you did your 3-minute or 4 or 5-minute little video piece. You uploaded it to YouTube. You extracted the MP3, which is the audio format portion of that, and you uploaded it to the iTunes Apple podcast there. That's basically what I'm doing right here, right? Now, an extension to this, to take it to the next level, is to extract this out using something like Rev.com. So they basically transcribe your audio or your video out to text, and you put the text and the Apple podcast or the video out on your blog or your website. And by the way, if it's a video and you're doing a very visual presentation, of course, that is just an awesome compliment. Now, all of these things that we're doing here is to provide value to people who are on different mediums, right? So some are more visual oriented, like YouTube or just podcast. But also what we're doing, and I'll talk about this later, is we're creating kind of your own media link network in terms of providing links back to each other, right? So blog posts, to YouTube, vice versa. Should I embed that YouTube video on the blog, or should I link to it? What should I put in the description area as far as links on YouTube, on Apple or iTunes, etc. And by the way, when I say iTunes and Apple, really you can use something called Libsyn. I haven't put that up here, but you can get a wider distribution into Stitcher and Google Play and Spotify, etc., etc. So we're going to cover that in another presentation. But for now, and by the way, before I continue, I mentioned at the top of the call, if you want any help with this or if you have any questions around this, we have experts at our Chaos Map offices here in Los Angeles, chaosmap.com/talk. You get some bonuses as well. Happy to do this for you. We love it. So happy to talk to you there for about 15-20 minutes. And so back to the presentation. First step, recording, edit, right? Put that up there, different devices. Using YouTube as this example, extraction of MP3 audio and Rev.com for extraction to text. Once we have all of this, we want to use tools and capabilities to help us, again, technology, right? To help us push this out there for wider distribution across networks. And so the way that we do this is that we use things like Agora Pulse. You see it over here? I think that's $30-40 a month to start, and then it scales up from there. And or Hootsuite. Both of these are great tools that allow you to essentially grab the content that you now have placed in multiple locations as sort of seed objects that then these tools can take and distribute and schedule and reschedule out there for you, so you don't have to babysit this. Now we've created an automation of all of this so that we don't have to really. I mean, we've basically set it up so that if you decide you wanted to come on board and get some help with this, we have a streamlined process. We like systems and processes on this to help us automate. And you can see at the bottom here of the screen on the right-hand side under Agora Pulse and Hootsuite, I have a calendar. The idea that you calendar all these items and set up a schedule through your content strategy is absolutely viable and necessary. Easy to do, again, with these tools, and so that you have really now a 1, 2, 3 step approach, right? It's really as simple as that. So let's see here. I hope I'm back to the screen here. So really, the fact that I can now upload or create something with any of these devices, upload it, and then convert it and distribute it to text here, create it for text, and then distribute it, schedule, is literally just a fantastic way for you to get shown in various platforms, but also build equity and trust in the marketplace. We know about the know, like, and trust, right? We really are trying to build that over time as a brand, but all of this with a call to action, right? So, we do a lot of what we call direct response work. This is a direct response branding capability here. So it's not just showcasing your name up in lights. There's a clear call to action in the next step. And we like to ask this every step of the way. What is it that you want them to do next? And in fact, here's a perfect example. What I'd like you to do, if you so choose, is to visit chaosmap.com/talk. We'll get you on the call there for about 15, 20 minutes, answer any questions. And it's, by the way, not a hidden sales pitch in disguise or anything like that. No shenanigans. We really want to just try and help you and find out what you're doing. See some successes in your business and in your life to get these content strategies developed. And in fact, the truth is, once you start to see this working, you can take what's working and then build ads around that. So imagine going live on a Facebook post, right? Basically Facebook Live on your page, and 2 weeks later, maybe 1 week later, a few days later, you see this really blowing up. Take that piece of content and then put ads behind it, meaning use the ad strategy now with Facebook Ads Manager, not the Boost. Yes, you can do that, but we prefer the Ads Manager to build up a strategy around that. And then you take other content pieces that sort of relate to this and continue to build this strategy. Very, very powerful model. Lots of the big guns out there are doing this, from big corporations to, some of the top entrepreneurs in the marketplace. And we like to think about this in terms of a system and a process, because frankly, around this, we can develop, SOPs and show you how you can do this for yourself, and then ultimately train your organization to have this be just a sort of a capability and a function within your organization that you can do daily if you'd like, or twice weekly, or it could be once monthly, right? We're not trying to stress you out with this amazing new push for content each day, but we do know that frequency is a positive indicator for these social platforms, and it sort of also is in terms of consistency, right? So let's say that you decide on Monday you're going to launch sort of a capture for the prior week, maybe just an update for the industry, and maybe that's a shorter thing that you do every week. And then on Thursday, that's where you do sort of a how-to type of article or how-to video, right? And then you push that out there. So these things definitely are strategic in nature before you get into these tactical things. As I mentioned, know who you're talking to, what is it that you're trying to communicate, and what's the next step. Next step here is, if you'd like, go to chaosmap.com/talk, and we'll jump on for 15, 20 minutes, and we'll go through some of these scenarios, or really just answer any questions that you have. So I certainly look forward to doing that, and I am back on live here with this wonderful new camera, DSLR, and Ecamm Live. You may see the logo there. I'm actually thinking about getting this for the organization. I had a great podcast today, too, also. You should check that out on iTunes with Jeff Nisbet, doing some amazing things with Facebook ads at the automotive industry. So that's for another time. Today, though, hope you really have enjoyed this. This is part one in this new sort of Xing, 10Xing, 3Xing, whatever you want to call the next X for you and your organization. We're really just trying to upgrade existing content, which, of course, most of you have a lot of, But it's not just any content, as I said. You want to be clear on the direction of the content, the next step in the series, and also who you're talking to always. Trying to address and create good value, as you hear often, but also goodwill in the marketplace to build a know, like, and trust. And again, I appreciate you being with me here today on this live broadcast. And thanks again for liking, sharing, and commenting out there. All right, everybody. And by the way, it's funny. I say everybody. I'm literally just talking to you right now behind the camera there, or behind the screen, rather. So I appreciate it. All right. It's good fun, man. Take it easy. Later.